Stakeholders optimistic as Buhari signs petroleum industry bill into law. 92.4% of Nigeria's 2021 budget expended, says Finance Minister. Asia Pacific stock mostly sleep. China internet shares fall as regulatory fears resurface. Details of these and more on Business Express. We are reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar. Now let's begin with petroleum industry law. The President Muhammadu Buhari has signed a petroleum industry bill 2021 into law, working from home in 5 days quarantine as required by the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19. After returning from London on Friday, August 13th, the President assented to the bill Monday, August 16th, in his determination to fulfill his constitutional duty. The ceremonial part of the new legislation will be done on Wednesday, after the days of mandatory isolation will have been fulfilled. The Petroleum Industry Act provides legal, governance, regulatory and fiscal framework for the Nigerian petroleum industry, the development of the host communities and related matters. The Senate had passed the bill on July 15, 2021, while the House of Representatives did same on July 16th, thus ending a long wait since early 2000s and notching another high for the Buhari administration. Now, Senate has described assent to the petroleum industry bill by President Muhammadu Buhari as a major victory that has the potential of bailing Nigeria out of its economic predicament and ensure the full realization of the economic gains of the oil industry in Nigeria. Statement by the chairman Senate Committee on Public Affairs, Surajuddin Ajibola Bashiru, congratulated the executive arm of government led by President Muhammadu Buhari, the leadership and members of the National Assembly and all other stakeholders in the oil industry. He observed that efforts at reaching the stage has been a protracted affair as the bill first initiated in 2003 expected to liberalize the sector had been subjected to a ping-pong affair between previous legislatures and the executive, with the 9th National Assembly finally breaking the jinx. Senator Bashiru attributed the success of the assent to the bill, which has now become an act to the cooperative efforts of all participating sectors in the success in the process and also the non-confrontational policy of the present National Assembly. The Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative (NIT) has described the assent of President Muhammadu Buhari to the petroleum industry law as historic and critical to the development of the oil and gas sector. In a statement, the Executive Secretary of NIT, Dr. Oji Ogbonaya, said the new law has ended decades of uncertainty concerning the future of Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The signing into law of the PIB has demonstrated government's resolve to strengthen governance processes and systems, especially in the extractive industry, through an institutional and legal framework. NIT is encouraged by the development. He said the petroleum industry law will provide the dynamic legal governance framework required to reposition Nigeria's petroleum industry to fully embrace competition, openness, accountability, professionalism, and better profit returns on investment to both companies and government. OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari for signing into law the petroleum industry bill. Barkindo says it marks a significant milestone for Nigeria's oil industry and a historic achievement for the President Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo, with the stroke of a pen, President Buhari inaugurated a new era for the industry following years of legislative efforts to strengthen the legal, regulatory, fiscal governance framework of the petroleum sector. Indeed, the new law will enhance the Nigerian petroleum industry's reputation, open the door to new investment, and ultimately strengthen its position to meet the world's growing demand for energy. The enactment of the legislation, he said, is timely as the investment outlook becomes clouded with efforts aimed at accelerating a lower carbon future. Furthermore, the new law will help harness Nigeria's potential to achieve its program of raising oil production to 4 million barrels per day and oil reserves to 40 billion barrels. Oil prices rose on Tuesday, recovering from the previous day's losses as investors sought bargains and on expectations that major producers will not boost supply soon. Though fears of weaker global demand amid surging pandemic cap gains, Brent crude was up 13 cents at $69.64 a barrel after falling 1.5% on Monday. U.S. oil climbed by 14 cents to $67.43 a barrel, having lost 1.7% the previous day. There have been reports indicating that prices of agriculture produce are marginally dropping across major commodity markets in the country. The development is attributed to farmers' early supply of their produce to the market for cash to solve urgent family needs. However, All Farmers Association of Nigeria is of the view that without government addressing issues relating to guaranteed minimum price, the middlemen will abuse the process of the buying and selling. The All Farmers Association of Nigeria is therefore calling for the establishment of separate produce purchasing committee that will come up with a system that will protect the interests of both poor farmers and that of consumers. The association pointed out that farmers will get good price to be able to sustainably produce. The consumers will have fairly affordable prices. Now, to the issue of the day, to shed more light on what can be done to guarantee minimum prices of agricultural produce is the President of All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Kabir Ibrahim. You're welcome to Business
Thank you very
Express.
much. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Tell us more about your plans to make agricultural produce affordable.
Well, you see, the guaranteed minimum price has been in place since 2008. The idea behind it is to be able to buy off what the farmers produce when they cannot get good prices in the market. Keep it in our stores, and that's why we optimized our storage capacity to 1.3 million in respect of what CADEP arranged for the countries in this hemisphere. During the Umar Musa Yar'Adua administration, the silo capacity was increased to 1.3.
Okay.
And the GMP was put in place. So contracts would be placed, supply contracts would be placed so that the farmers would sell their crops at a very good price so that they can go back the following year. When you buy it and store in the strategic grains reserve, you now bring it out when prices are high.
Yeah.
And then this will cushion the effect of high prices. What happened in 2020 and 2021 because of COVID, 2021 because of COVID and insecurity and all that, we had nothing in the reserve. At the beginning of COVID, we had about 100,000 metric tons. 70,000 was given out to people in panic. We were left with about 30,000. The poultry industry complained about the skyrocketing price of the energy component of their feed. They were given about 5,000 metric tons of maize. We were left with 25,000, and that is what is there. That when you bring that out, it will do nothing. Certainly, the CBN said it was going to give out about 300,000 metric tons of maize. We don't know whether they have given it. I mean, the prices are still very high. So the thing to do now is to be able to catch this thing while it is happening. Come September, October, the farmers will bring out their produce and they will be requiring money to do other things with the money. Some people will want to marry off their daughters and things like that. At that time, the country should set a machinery to buy this transparently, not to give contracts where there will be escalation of prices as well. And then, of course, there is a lot of corruption. So a special committee should be set up to intervene at that point.
Now, who sets the special committee?
The strategic reserve is a department in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. But you see, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is the one that determines what happens. But for now, so that there will be transparency, as maybe the Food Security Council should be involved in it, so that you buy this and the whole process will be transparent. You buy it at a very good price and then release it without seeking profit when the prices are high, so that other people, consumers like you, will now buy at a very reasonable, so that this kind of noise all over the place will not be there.
Now, how do you want to work considering the situation of informal commodity markets?
You see, we have been talking about the commodity exchange and all that, but you know, the framework is not well organized. You know, there is a lady that I met, I think she organized one of these countries, Ethiopia. She organized the commodity exchange and she trained in Ithaca at Cornell. I met her. She said she was coming here to Nigeria to do the same for us, but we have not done it. So, I mean, outside that, since we don't have that, we should do something in the interim to solve the problem, because the sooner we do that, the better. The cry all over the country today of skyrocketing prices and blaming farmers is there, and it's there real. So we should be able to do something. You know, in 8 weeks, we should be able to do something and do it decisively and transparently.
Okay, the recent report from ECOWAS Agricultural Department shows that 60 to 70% of citizens in the region relied on Nigeria for agricultural produce. How is that?
This is very true. If you look at before the closure of the borders in Nigeria, if you go to Dawano Market in Kano, you would find over 500 trucks with with a lot of food items going up to Timbuktu through Niger Republic and all that. And the corridor to Ghana, northern Ghana, has always been open. Nigeria has been supplying them with food. So this is a fact.
But shouldn't that be fetching us dollars?
Well, now there is going to be an organized market through AFTA, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which we will take part in. I lead the agricultural work stream, and then we are encouraging our people to produce optimally, so that we will be able to feed Nigeria, and then feed these countries as well. But so the market will be open and we will be able to attract foreign exchange.
But with these countries depending on Nigeria, does that explain the reason why we're having high prices in food?
In a way, yes. You see, we opened the borders. You know, there was this agitation that the borders should be opened. And then we have people who are unscrupulous also smuggling. And the borders are now open. So the food find is way out of Nigeria. Therefore, the Nigerian population, which is 200 million, is not well oiled. Therefore, we have problems. But again, there are many, many problems, you know, because of the purchasing power of our currency also has gone down. We have a lot of insecurity. Production had not been optimal. So the problem is there. But we can solve it in the interim by this intervention that I'm talking about. And then also you have to have the NAFRA in place. You know, we supported 2 bills, the Nigeria Agricultural Development Fund and the NAFRA resuscitation in the National Assembly. We went for the public hearing and all that. The bills will soon be presented to Mr. President for assent. I think the sooner that is done, the better, so that the Food Security Council will have something to work on. And then, of course, you have to harmonize all the interventions in agriculture today. What the CBN is doing, what the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is doing, and what even NALDA is doing. And there are many, many donor windows and all that. And the farmers have to be involved.
Now with the African Continental Free Trade, how can we take advantage of that single market?
Very well. Once we produce optimally enough to feed our country, we will have surpluses. And these surpluses will be sold on the market. And then this issue of commodity exchange that you brought about will even no longer be necessary, because the prices will be determined by the need.
But what about the issue of value addition?
Then, you know, there are many cross-cutting issues that will now bring about value addition. What about our power? We have to do something about our power. We have to do something about finance. We have to be able to use the technology available world over to be able to add value. Of course, when you sell whatever you produce in its primary form, you get nothing. Take cocoa, for instance. We export cocoa in its primary form and we buy chocolates at a very high price. So this is it. We must take care of all these cross-cutting issues. Power, to be able to process, to be able to store, you know, cold stores and all that. We need power to do that. And we need to do something about our transportation. We need to do something about our post-harvest losses and all that.
Okay, thank you very much, Kabir Ibrahim, President of Farmers Association of Nigeria.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Now moving on, gold holds steady near 1 week high on virus woes. Let's now take a trip to the commodities market. Next is our Surviving COVID-19 series.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
We participated in the TCF loan. I knew about this loan from my online friends. During the COVID period, we had very bad business. Our business started dripping. Started dropping by day. The loan has helped us so tremendously.
I benefited from the TCN COVID loan. I run a poultry. It has created a room for expansion of the business, and it has generated another source of income to me as a person and to the household generally.
Into business, fish business. We have a factory where we wanted to start producing feed. I had it through the informations. There's a Facebook, carry it, Twitter before, carry it. So many informations carried about the COVID-19. And that's how I applied. Just like a play, I got a lot.
I applied for TCF COVID-19 loan and I was able to get the sum of 500,000. The pandemic affected us seriously. As you know, there was no school, so everybody was staying at home. I use it to pay my teacher's salary, and I also use it to pay bills.
We produce the popularly known the Ijabu Gari and then Ofada rice. We're a beneficiary of the TCF loan. We received 1.6 million naira, and I got to know about the TCF loan through social media. These people are not being biased. They are not, the old tradition of knowing somebody to get somebody is no longer there.
I assessed 9.3 million naira of AGMI's loan last year, and I heard about the program on social media. The loan has been of tremendous help for my business, because before the assessment of the loan, our production is just like every month we are producing 1 ton of chicken meat, but now we produce like times 3 of that every month.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Now, how realistic are the budgeting parameters when compared with global and local economic indices? These are some of the areas of concern as the executive and legislature assess projections on expenditure and fiscal strategies from 2022 to 2024. Lami Ali reports.
The House of Representatives received the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper 2022 to 2024, detailing basic estimates and assumptions for the budget for the next 3 years on the 8th of July 2021. This interaction, which involves 83 ministries, departments and agencies of government with the House Committee on Finance, is to ensure that all options on the table are fine-tuned to absorb economic shocks and other dynamics, whether imminent or unexpected. The aim is to ensure that robust development plans do not suffer distractions during implementation, as is the experience due to COVID-19 pandemic.
We have the responsibility and the authority to act on behalf of the Nigerian people to ensure that our collective resources are efficiently administered in service of the public good. Let no one be in doubt of our commitment as the ninth House of Representatives to live up to that responsibility by exercising the full extent of our authority as it relates to the appropriations process and oversight.
All federal government ministries, departments, and agencies are therefore advised to scale down on what elephant projects contained in their budget proposals as a way of shoring up revenue for critical infrastructure and development of capital resources that have direct impact on the people.
The total fiscal deficit that we had in the 2021 budget is 4.891 trillion. This is slightly higher than the 4.64 trillion that we are projecting in 2022. So when you look at the MTEP, you find that the deficit is beginning to decline from 2022 right through to 2023 and 2024.
How much is the Naira exchanging for other currencies? Let's find out. Asia-Pacific stocks mostly slip. China internet shares fall as regulatory fears resurface.
Shares in Asia-Pacific were mostly lower in Tuesday trade, with Chinese internet stocks in Hong Kong falling again as regulatory fears resurfaced. Hong Kong's brother Hang Seng Index was 0.68% lower. Mainland Chinese stocks also declined, with the Shanghai Composite slipping 0.48%, while in Japan, the Nikkei was positive. European markets are set to open slightly on Tuesday, on track to extend losses after snapping a 10-day winning streak in the previous session. The UK's FTSE 100 index is expected to open down around 10 points at 7,153.98. CAC 40 of France is also seen lower. US stock index futures were also seen slightly lower after the Dow and S&P 500 on Monday closed at record highs during regular trading. Futures contracts tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 24 points. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures were slightly lower. Shares in Africa expected to stumble on Tuesday, also rattled by concerns of the pandemic, but numbers are yet to come in. Boss said they able. Business Express.
Now that wraps this edition of Business Express. Remember to keep in touch with us, so do send in your comments, observations and suggestions. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NT's channel. Business Express returns Wednesday at 3 p.m. Be safe out there. I am Musa Abubakar.